Hi everyone, I have been asked to do some more cookery videos. So here's one of many. I am going to be doing a pasta carbonara tonight. So come join us.
Retro renovations do not go away.
So first you're going to need to know the ingredients for the carbonara. So I usually do a lot more than the actual ingredients actually say, because we love it so much that even the dog has a bowl full. So I always use this, and no, we're not affiliated by them. So this is the carbonara mix by Schwartz. I then use mushrooms. You can have any type of mushrooms you like in there, as long as they're legal. And I use the closed cut mushrooms. And I've now got Chloe laughing. And I have 2 lots of those, because we do like mushrooms. And I use cooking bacon. I prefer using cooking bacon because you get a lot more chunks in them, and I cut them with the kitchen scissors instead of having to get rashers and trying to cut them up into small pieces. And for the milk, instead of using semi-skimmed or skimmed like it says on the packet, I use almond milk because you can use a little bit less of it, but it makes it just as creamy. So come watch me and how I cook it. So first I take off the stalks of the mushrooms, and I actually just cut the mushrooms into quarters and then put them in a pan. I don't use a frying pan, I use a pan, and I just sort of saute them, but I do put the bacon and the mushrooms in together. And the reason why I put the mushrooms first is they start to cook and produce their own little bit of water. Then when you've had the bacon, all that juices then start to cook it as well, so you don't need any oil. So that's all the mushrooms all quartered and popped in the pan. Again, like I said, there's no oil. And in my other pan, I've now also put some water for the pasta. Now on the actual packet, it says spaghetti carbonara, but you can use any pasta. I normally use pen pasta, but because of the current climate, I couldn't get any. So we're actually going to use macaroni. So we're going to have lots and lots and lots of little pasta today. So now that I've done the mushrooms and I've got the water, they will now need to go onto the heat. So I'm just going to light my cooker. Now for those who are in a smaller V-dub that's only got 2 rings, you only need 2 rings for this. So you can do this in any camper. Next is the cooking bacon, and as you can see, I have 2 lots of it. So what I need to do now is open up the packet and start cutting it up with the scissors. This is the reason why I choose cooking bacon. Just look how thick that is. Can you imagine that cut into chunks now, ready to go in?
What is it, Jack?
Was it bacon?
Is it your favourite meal? Your favourite meal?
once you've cut all the bacon and the mushrooms and they're all together, give them a good stir because you need it to keep cooking. You don't want the bottom bits burnt. And then once you're done, just leave it to simmer until it's all nicely cooked. I lied. I just went into my store cupboard and I haven't just got macaroni. I do have pen pasta. So that's what pen pasta looks like. When it's dry, of course. Not when it's cooked. So, first things first. You better get some of this into cook. Now, I normally use about half a bag to 3/4 a bag. Depends on how much food you actually want. And then I get my spoon and just give it a quick stir so it sort of sits level instead of all clumped up in one area. And then give your bacon and mushroom mix a stir, and if Chloe goes in zoom you can actually see all the juices down there, hence why you don't need any oil. And to know that it's all cooking okay, the bacon turns pink and doesn't stay that reddy colour. Okay, so once you've done all the stirring and you've added your pasta, you now need to leave it to cook the pasta for about 10 minutes, maybe a bit longer. I usually like doing mine slightly over, so it's slightly overcooked, but it's very nice. And the bacon, you just turn it down to a low heat and let it simmer with the mushrooms for about 10 or 12 minutes or so. Okay, so now the bacon and the mushrooms are now cooked lovely, and you can see they're lovely cooked, but you can see how much fat and water and fluid content comes out from them. So we do need to get rid of that in a moment. And my pasta is also lovely and cooked as well. So I'm going to turn the pasta off and just leave them there. I'm going to turn that down on the bacon and mushrooms because I now need to use my colander to get rid of all that fluid. Okay, once I have put the bacon and mushroom mix into a colander to get rid of all that excess fluid, you do get the odd one or two that's stuck to the bottom, but don't worry because I'm going to be using this again. So I'm going to pop it on there on the very low heat, and I need my almond milk. You need about, normally it's about 3/4 pint. I just usually just judge it, but normally it comes down just under 3/4 pint. Next you need a whisk. This is very important, this bit. It normally tells you to use a fork, but I don't find it stirs or mixes as well, so I use a whisk. So once you've got that milk in, turn it up just a little bit on the heat. Get your whisk and just start pouring it in until it's all in, and give it a good whisk around until it's fully mixed. And you'll know when it is because there'll be no clumps of powder. Hold on. So once you've finished whisking that up, go back to your bacon and mushroom mix. Give it a good shake to make sure you get all the excess juice out that's at the bottom. And pop it back in. Set your colander aside because you can use it again for your pasta. And then give this a good stir. And then you just let that heat through for a couple of minutes. Next, you need to use your colander again to get rid of the water. from the pasta. The mix now is bubbling away nicely, but obviously it's going to be too watery now. Why have I done that? Because this is the next thing you need to do. You get your pasta, give it a good shake, take it over to your pan. Now you know why I use a big one. Pan, dear, pan, big pan. Pop it in, all your pasta, and then you give that a good stir. And you make sure it mixes lovely, so all the bacon and mushroom, you need to bring it to the top. And then you leave that to just simmer on a low heat for a good couple of minutes. Turn it off from the heat, leave it to stand, and then you serve. So now that's all cooked, it's now time to serve the food.
We've invited David over for dinner. Come join us for dinner.
Yeah.
David is going to sample the carbonara.
Yep.
I hope you're hungry.
Starving.
Thank you. Thank you.
Did you want some?
Woo! Yummy, yummy, yummy.
Wait. Do I get a paw? Good boy.
It's very nice. It's very good. Compliments to the chef.
Did you enjoy that? Did you enjoy yours?
Yeah, it's very nice, thank you.
How about you, Jack?
So I save you that bit. Do you want that bit?
Do you want that bit? Do you? That's it. Oh, that nose. That nose is twitching.